In this video, I'm going to be talking about exactly what you need to get started doing SEO. So generally, there are three things that you're going to need. The first is time, money, or both. Now, the thing is that most likely you've probably heard people say this, which is that if you have time, do SEO. If you have money, do pay-per-click. And while that's a very broad generalization and technically it's true, there's a lot of people that invest in SEO. For example, having a team of content writers that write blog posts is investing in SEO. So generally speaking, you're going to need at least one of these things, but it's preferable, obviously, to have both. SEO takes a lot of consistent effort over time. And there's a big chunk of that, which is setup, kind of initial setup and optimization. So things like filling out your Google My Business listing, taking photos of the business, right? Building out your on-page optimization with your website. So be prepared to spend at least an hour a day, if not more. If you can't do that, you either have to outsource this or SEO is not going to be for you. The next item on our list is a computer. I know people have said, and I know people like this who don't own computers and just have a smartphone. But the problem with that is that with SEO, you really do need an actual computer for the tools, software, and just general making your life easier. Who wants to sit on a phone and touch the screen for typing out content and building out websites, right? So you really do need a computer, one that performs decent. You don't need a really expensive computer, but you're going to want something that is fast enough and non-frustrating enough that you can reliably use it consistently. So investing in yourself and making sure that you have a good computer is really, really important. The next thing you're going to need is either some knowledge, which you can invest in. So when I say knowledge, I mean, and not the old Ty Lopez meme, although I guess it could be, right? Knowledge, right? So you need to either have a lot of books, you have to go through some courses, or some sort of education. Now, with SEO, typically this is going to be online, right? And you want to look for an education that is practical, that is actually going to teach you in the field skills. And unfortunately, not every course is going to do that. Now, I hate self-plugging, but my course does teach step by step, but other people's do too, right? So just do your due diligence and do research and find something that is going to teach you those skills, because you're going to spend countless hours throwing darts at a board, trying different things that aren't going to work. You're not going to have an idea of what things kind of to prioritize that are actually going to move the needle the most and that are actually going to start moving you up in search, right? You're not going to know that unless you have that knowledge. And so you either need to invest in education or do what I'm about to tell you, which is find a mentor. Here's the truth, and people hate this, and I've gotten into hot doo-doo with people on the SEO subreddit, in SEO Facebook groups, in YouTube comments, when I've told people to invest in themselves. There's a group of people out there that will try to tell you that the only way to learn this stuff is through trial and error. And the problem with that is that we all have lives, right? We have things that we do during the day. We have a job, or we have a business, or we have other things, and we don't have time for that. Most people don't. The reality is that these people are very anti-course, anti-anything you're spending money on. I think they're actually anti-capitalist. But I've run into quite a few people like this online, and you probably will too. And I'm telling you, as someone that has bought a ton of books, gone through a ton of courses to learn this stuff, it's just part of the process. Yes, I am at the stage where books are no longer teaching me anything new, and I do need to test things with my team. However, most people aren't at that point when they start out. You have to get there by first learning the fundamentals and the essentials. But here's the truth, kind of talking about the mentor thing. Most people aren't just going to sit there and explain everything and answer every question you have, because the people that are really good at this craft are very busy. They're very in demand, right? They're doing it themselves. And so you have to understand that no matter what route you choose, you're probably going to have to spend some money to get someone who genuinely is in your corner, or get proven information that's been vetted and reviewed by other people, right? So no matter what you do, be prepared to spend some money up front. If you can't do that, you may not either, it may not be the time for you to learn SEO, or it may not be the right marketing source for your business. And that's okay, because you can always do it later, okay? But I'm just telling you the truth. I know people get mad at me for saying these things, but I don't make the rules, right? I'm just telling you how things are in this industry. This is by far one of the most important things you need. And that, my friend, is patience. You may not know this, and maybe you've already heard this, but most SEO experts agree that the average amount of time it takes to start seeing results with SEO is 6 months to a year. Now, I hate to break it to you, but in the era and age of TikTok, instant gratification, dopamine with social media, this drives most people bananas. They can't stand it. They're not used to it. Us entrepreneurs, if you've had to put yourself in a situation where you have to do a lot of work on something and you don't see results right away, this won't kind of phase you as much, but for most people, they are not used to that. They're used to going to a 9 to 5 and getting a paycheck for the effort that they put in during that time. And a lot of them also are used to trying to get away with doing as little work as possible while they're on the clock. That's just the truth of things. And unfortunately with SEO, that sort of thinking, that sort of mindset ain't gonna work for you, okay? You're gonna have to be prepared to spend a lot of effort up front, a lot of hours, not seeing results. And I know that's very hard for people to do. And that's why you see beginners get overwhelmed or give up, because they're like, well, I'm doing all this, what's the point? It doesn't work, right? And that's why patience is really, really important. A lot of people I've seen with clients that go through my courses, they doubt themselves, they doubt the process. And then as I kind of push them, which I shouldn't do, but I do because I want to see these people succeed. So I keep reassuring them, I keep pushing them. And what happens is, and the reason I say I shouldn't is because at the end of the day, you have to wire your brain to not be dependent on someone else for that, so you can push yourself. But anyway, so they push through it. And then what happens is, they actually rank. They actually rank in the top 3 in maps, or they rank in the organics. And once that happens, I've seen this personally with quite a lot of people, which is that there's like a mindset shift, right? So something happens up here where now all of a sudden they're not asking as many questions. They're very excited. They're very happy. They're ecstatic. And now they start seeing the snowball SEO effect that happens later on. So you're going to need patience, and that's really important. Editing Gabriel here. So I know I said that there are primarily 3 things that you need. I did include a few as bonuses that I also think are important, because in truth, there's a little bit more than 3. So make sure to watch till the end. And if you do, leave a comment down below letting me that you know all of them. And that tells me that you paid attention and that I should make more videos like this. But with that being said, let's continue. The next thing you need is to not be in a situation where you need traffic and profit now. This kind of ties into the how long does SEO take and the patience thing, but I've seen people who are really trying to bootstrap a startup and they need cash and cash flow like now, right? Unfortunately, a lot of people don't think ahead with entrepreneurship. They follow their gut and their emotions, and so they'll like quit their job to start a business. And then what happens is the phone's not ringing and they're really overwhelmed. They're not making any money. They've put all this money into logo, branding, like real estate, like even hiring people. I've talked to people where they're literally in this position, and because they didn't plan a marketing strategy, they are freaking out, and rightfully so, right? So I've seen situations where SEO isn't the right traffic source for the moment. So really the required thing for this part, what I'll say, is being in a situation or a moment where you can afford to spend time and wait. If you're not in that situation, don't pursue SEO at the moment, okay? Make it a later game goal or strategy. The next thing you need is web design experience, or at least being comfortable with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Bonus points for WordPress. The reality is that a big part of SEO is that you actually need to know some basic form of web design, because as you're doing on-page optimization, as you're writing and creating content, you are modifying and updating websites, whether it's yours or, most likely, if you're a digital marketer, your clients. And so you actually have to be able to navigate these platforms. Again, especially WordPress, since over 35% of websites on the internet run WordPress. So these are skills you have to have. Now, you can luckily learn something like this fairly quick. You can learn how to update HTML code and things like that probably within like 15 to 20 minutes. But same with WordPress, although with WordPress, it is one of those things where you can experiment with it and figure it out, but definitely you're going to be overwhelmed, because when you log into the WordPress dashboard for the first time, and I actually was talking to someone and they were learning SEO and they logged into WordPress and they lost their mind because there's so many buttons, so many different interfaces, and it's like, what the heck do I do? Right? And so you need to actually take the time, actually go through some sort of tutorial for WordPress, or maybe it's a different CMS or website foundation, right? I don't know, but again, you're going to be dealing with a lot of people that use WordPress. It's inevitable, so you better understand how to use the platform. And I would say, finally, be prepared to learn, and be prepared to learn from your mistakes. So have a willingness to learn, because I've talked to a few people who refuse to consider other possibilities than what they've been told by Axe Guru, Y Book, even though the book is from like 2016, right? And so the reality is that you have to be prepared to learn. You have to be willing to read multiple books, or go through multiple courses, because the reality is that I had to go through 20 plus books to get the full picture, or to start to see the full puzzle. Because what happens is you'll go through a book and you'll learn a lot, and then you'll go through the next book and you'll learn a little bit less, and then you'll go through a course and 3 videos might be new info, whereas the other videos were info you already knew. Now, I do my best, at least with my courses, to make sure that I include as much value and golden nuggets as I can. But there are a lot of people that just want to make money with courses, and I don't blame them, right? We all have bills to pay and things like that. But what I do blame is just pumping out low quality material. And I've seen both books and I've seen both courses like that, and that kind of stuff does exist. So be prepared to pick up an education resource, and maybe you'll get 3 golden nuggets out of it. But what a lot of people don't talk about is that that's actually worth it. Because, for example, a book is like $10, $12, right? If that gives me a piece of info that allows me to tackle future client or projects or my website, and kind of push past the competitors in an area where I couldn't figure out how to do that before, that's absolutely worth $10 to $12, right? So it's important to understand that, especially if you're buying books, because this happens a lot with books, be prepared for something like that to happen. That wraps up this list. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please leave a comment down below, and most importantly, please subscribe to the channel, because I just took, looking at the video, 13 minutes out of my day. Ooh, that's not a lucky number, 13. But I just spent 13 minutes giving you this info, and it would mean the world to me if you tap that button. It's free for you to do, and it allows me and enables me to keep serving you and giving you great SEO content just like this. And until next time, be safe, be kind, and keep being an SEO ninja. Like and subscribe if you want to become an SEO ninja.